Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today, everyone. My name is Matt Rosebrock. I'm the Vice Chair of the National Association of Park Foundations. We really appreciate you joining this webinar to celebrate some of our members. This is the second year of this iteration. We've done a few other award ceremonies back in the last decade, but as the NAPF continues to grow, we wanted to celebrate some of our members across the country and the wonderful projects they're doing to strengthen their park foundations. So I'm joined with four representatives, four members, four NAPF members from all over the country that are excited to talk to you today about some of the wonderful projects they have to help strengthen their park agencies and raise money for their foundations. So again, Matt Rosebrock, Vice Chair. I represent Charleston County Parks from the Charleston County Parks Foundation here in Charleston, South Carolina. And just can't be more proud of where the NAPF has come in the last 5 years or so. And that really has a lot to do with the members that you'll hear from today. So we'll try to keep this to an hour. You'll hear from, again, four different foundations from all over the country, and what they have in store for you is wonderful. So I will kick it to Greenfields. Greenfields Outdoor Fitness has been a strategic partner of the NAPF for, I think, 4 years now, and we could not provide the capacity that we do for boards all across this country without Greenfields. So Allison, take it away.
Thank you, Matt. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for the opportunity to say a few words and also to just support the great work that the NAPF is doing. It's been really exciting to see the development over the last few years, especially seeing how much more impactful that the Lehman Awards has been this year. It's definitely become a bigger event and just reaching more people and sharing fantastic ideas. So we're really excited to be a part of it. If anyone's not familiar with Greenfields Outdoor Fitness, we create fun, interactive, multi-generational, and really inclusive outdoor fitness areas, leveraging public spaces to really make substantial contributions to the overall health and wellness of communities. So I could say a few words, but would much better to show a video so you kind of see a little bit more tangibly what we're talking about and how we can help your parks contribute even more to your local communities. So with that, I'm going to share a quick video.
We're faced with challenges, more so than ever before. Physical health and mental health are at greater risk. We want to help, but how? What if we designed our open spaces to truly serve everyone in our communities? What if we leverage all they can do for families, friends, and neighbors? What if we made fitness everything it should be? A way to not just make our bodies healthier, but also a way to connect with nature and connect with each other. It's time fitness had no barriers to entry. Time for it to be enjoyed together by everyone. Designed to serve people for whom it's already a lifestyle and people who are just beginning their fitness journeys. Let's make the places we strengthen our physical health the same places we boost our mental health. Let's turn the fitness journey into something that's challenging yet approachable, accessible for those of all abilities, and transform fitness into an easy part of our lives. Something as natural as, well, a walk in the park. Let's take fitness to the people. Let's give teens a place that makes exercise exciting. Let's give parents a way to take care of themselves as they watch their kids play. Let's give seniors a way to build the strength, mobility, and balance to prevent falls, giving them healthier, happier lives. Let's give people in wheelchairs access to an inclusive environment where they get to enjoy recreational activities with friends and family members. Let's give people a way to connect with one another, enjoy the fresh air, and better their overall well-being. Let's bring fitness to everyone and start promoting wellness one community at a time.
So again, thank you so much for the opportunity to let Greenfields be a part of all that you're doing. We would love to work with any of you on some fantastic fitness amenities for your park or any open space. And with that, I will hand it back to Matt.
Yeah, thanks so much, Allison. That's a great video. Um, so yes, again, we have met in person now twice in 2024 and 2025 for the Lehman Awards, a breakfast ceremony at NRPA, which is an awesome time. It's a great networking event. We learn a lot about best practices and can talk and really relax and understand what other folks are doing around the country. And this year we had about 50 people, which was really great. So an awesome time at NRPA. So hopefully, please be on the lookout for that as you continue to visit NRPA. We hope to continue to have more NAPF programming at that national conference. But what we thought this year was let's give the awardees time to speak about their projects. So that's why we're doing this webinar. Give them a little bit more time. Hopefully, you'll have questions. They may be able to inspire you in many ways. So that's why we're doing this. We're very excited. Thank you all for joining again. We're going, and I'd be remiss if I did not introduce our executive director, Kevin Korenthal. Thank you for your leadership and everything you do, Kevin, to strengthen park foundations across the country. So without further ado, we're going to start with Hayward Area Recreation Park District Foundation. They won the award for excellence in fundraising strategies, and the name of their project well, I'll let them do it. So take it away.
Thank you. I'm Stephen Love from the Hayward Area Recreation and Park District Foundation, located in Hayward, California, which is in the south, in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I'm really honored to have won the Lehman Award. And we submitted for our I Heart Hard program. This came out of our strategic planning process, which NAPF was instrumental in us developing. We, about a year and a half ago, created our first strategic plan with the help of Kevin and the resources of National Association of Park Foundations. And out of that, one of the things that came out was being able to tell our story, community outreach. So our theme is Live Well, Love Hard. As you can see, I'm wearing an I Heart Hard shirt, and on the back it says Live Well, Love Hard, to increase awareness, engage the community, and grow annual support. So multi-channel relationship-based fundraising. That's really at the core of this program. We fit it into donor appeals, storytelling, corporate partnerships, community events, digital engagement. For those of you not familiar with Hayward, California, they like to call themselves the heart of the San Francisco Bay. So it was kind of an inspiration for us. We're the Hayward Area Recreation and Park District. So I Heart Hard kind of gave a nod to the city's embracing of being the heart of the Bay and gave us a chance to kind of create a program around that. Impact and results. We were surprised by the popularity. We created T-shirts, buttons, targeted appeals. We increased our donor individual giving by 12%, increased our overall revenue by 40%, and increased brand awareness. When we're out presenting in the public, kind of gives people something to talk to us about. And they see the I Heart Hard shirt. Everyone within the district and in the general community really wants to know how they can get one, so we make that easy for them. And it kind of helps us with advertising what we do as well. Revenue growth. As you can see, in the last 3 years, we've had significant revenue growth, in part to the strategic plan, but also having something to connect with people. And the I Heart Hard program really does that. People love our parks. I was inspired by seeing the Greenfields Ninja Gym. I'm a avid park user, and I can't wait for us to get one of those outdoor ninja gyms ourselves. I'm actually trained to be an American Ninja Warrior, but that's another story for another time. Community impact, transitioning donors and identifying our community-driven outcomes. Unified branding, everyone can easily identify who we are, and especially when we're presenting at a community event. Community-centered storytelling. Pretty much everyone, and I'm sure this is the same for the other presenters today, everyone has a story about their favorite park, about their favorite activity, and what they like to do in parks. And this gives us a way to hear from them what they like to do and informs how we communicate with them. It also creates an entry point for donors to connect with us. We pretty much have created branding around this. We have posters up and around the different parks, our different community centers. We did a targeted appeal, making it easy for people to not only find out more, but to engage them, send them, if they pick up a brochure, send them to our website so they can learn more about us. And as you can see, trying to include stories, testimonials on there. Again, tying back to the community, telling our story, which was, again, in our strategic plan and helped us. This is a community street fair. These are our youth ambassadors who all have the shirts. They wear them wherever they go, anytime they're volunteering. Again, reinforcing that they love hard, as I love hard. And hopefully, if you ever get a chance to visit the San Francisco Bay Area, you'll love hard as well. And that's pretty much it. Again, we are honored to have won the Lehman Award and look forward to working with NAPF in the future to increase our fundraising and our impact in the community.
Thanks, Stephen. We'll go ahead and open it up for a few questions or comments.
Let's go ahead and take questions at the end. I want to make sure we get through everybody.
Okay. All righty. We'll move on to Maritza in St. Johns County Parks Foundation.
Perfect.
You won the Emerging Star Award.
Yes. Let me go back to this presenting mode. There we go. All right. So yes, I'm Maritza Ross with the St. Johns County Parks Foundation, and we were incorporated in 2021. And I like to say we were also reestablished in 2024. We just made it under the 5 years of the Emerging Star Awards. So I was actually very excited to be able to even apply for something like this, because it feels like we did kind of restart our organization. We are the official philanthropic partner of St. Johns County Parks and Recreation Department. So I kind of did it in a way where we have our ingredients to an emerging plan. And the first thing that I did was list out all the problems that we had, or that I walked into. I started a year ago. And what was the easiest and the cheapest problem to solve for us? And for me, it was that nobody really knew us. Nobody knew what the foundation was. Nobody really knew what we were trying to do or anything like that. So one of the things that I think was a problem for all of our board members was we didn't have any money or any donors or anything like that. I didn't really see that as a problem. I think that's kind of the result of the actual problems that you have going on. So again, no one knows us was my biggest problem and how I started with this whole endeavor. And looking at what everybody else is doing wasn't really the best solution for us. Our agency, our nonprofit, is so focused on our parks agency that, you know, I'm not curing kids with cancer. We're not helping the poor. We're not doing all these things that are really touchy feeling. So I can't do the same things that they're doing. I can't have the really expensive gala because, again, nobody knows us. I can't have the pickleball tournament where I'm charging, $300 and actually making a profit out of it, because nobody knows us. So that was always kind of the problem that we started out with. So who can I rely on was the next question that I really asked. And the official philanthropic partner, I actually saw that from just going back and looking at what everybody else is doing. I saw that with another organization and I really liked it because it really helped establish the reputation that I feel like we didn't have because nobody knew us. So I quickly asked the county, I'm like, I need to be viewed by you guys and by us as the official philanthropic partner. I know it's just words, but those words build the reputation that we need in order to grow and move on. So they were like, sure, do whatever you want. And so I went with it. I stamped it on everything. I said it with everything. We're the official philanthropic partner. That's who we are. So when I got that buy-in, then I relied on NAPF. I relied on NAPF's information. I relied on that membership to increase and grow our reputation as well, because again, nobody knows us. So then moving on to that, it was obviously getting into with the NRPA, getting with the FRPA and all of those things. So now, now the core people kind of know what we're trying to do. And those are the kind of people that are helping us build our reputation. So those are the people that I can rely on. And then it moved on to, so who are we talking to? We had no donors. We had about a list of people that kind of signed up on our website randomly, which was about 200 people maybe during the course of this entire time. So who am I talking to now that I have a little bit of a reputation? Who am I talking to? Networking events, gala events, all these sort of really fun things that, executive directors or directors like to be a part of. That's all great and dandy, but it wasn't working for us because we just, nobody knew us. And those relationships were not really relationships. They were kind of transactional. Me going to a chamber event, for example, with people that had no use of parks or really didn't go out to them is really not my market. So I really had to evaluate what is being done with these events and how people use these events and how that wasn't really working out for us. Know your market is a TV term, and it's really just understanding who you're actually trying to talk to or who you're trying to appeal. And so for me, it wasn't working to go to those chamber events. It wasn't working to go to the swanky wine and cheese galas because those people weren't really in with parks. So the cheapest and easiest solution to my problem that no one knows was to go talk to park people. And that sounds really dumb and very easy, but you'd be surprised how many people you don't talk to that have, just nothing to do with parks. And the thing is like, we're so fortunate to have our parks here that are very diverse. We run beaches, rivers, courts, all the things. Our park department is countywide, so it really encompasses everyone. So I started to go to the pickleball courts. I started to go to the golf range. I started to go and talk to actual users of our parks, the people that signed up to the programs, those peoples. Now, those people weren't necessarily donors, but I started to get enough intel to really start to see and build conversations and start these conversations about who we are. And so now they started to know us. And there's power in those numbers, even though they weren't necessarily donating to us. Now, because we know more park people and actual users, we were able to start to come up with better plans and realign our mission, realign our governance, and even just our board. And one example is I knew a board member, or actually I didn't know him then, but I met a guy who was involved with club sports, blah, 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 had various conversations with him. Finally, after almost 2 years, I realized that he was vice president of a bank. I realized that we had a lot more in common through that park that we were going to that I never knew of. So we finally got to have these conversations, and it was good to have the conversations centered around our parks because he got it. He really understood not only what we were trying to do, but our future. And so now he is a board member on our board, and I don't have to make him understand what accountability is. He just understands it. So by just talking to park people about our organization, I was able to start to really puzzle in the pieces that we needed to fix our finances, our governance, and our board, and really take off and find our first major big donor, and then our first major big grant, corporate grant. So that's kind of what we did, and it and it really worked. And it seems very simple, but if you don't know your market, then you probably don't really know what you're going to need.
Got about 2 minutes, Maritza.
I'm done.
Oh, okay, cool. Excellent job. Wonderful. And so it's so great to talk to you and learn more and see how aligned we are as well. So I look forward to catching up with you again soon. All right, we're going to go to McKinney Parks Foundation in Texas.
Great. Hi, everyone. Kevin, if you could cue that up, I'll kind of give a quick intro as we get the slideshow going on. But my name's Bruce Mead. Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. McKinney, Texas is a fast-growing area. We're about 230,000 people now in town, just outside of Dallas, about 30 miles north. I'm on both the McKinney Parks Foundation board and the City of McKinney Parks board. And about 2 years ago, there was a 1/4 of an acre piece of property in kind of a blighted part of town that's undergoing significant redevelopment now through new City Hall and some other efforts, that was going to be developed by the City of McKinney into a lawn. I intercepted that, being on both ends of Parks and Parks Foundation, and said, instead of doing something like a lawn, let's try to address an insecurity in our part of the county. And that's highlighted on this slide, which is a Dallas Morning News article from about the same time I was talking with city government about this. And the title of the article was McKinney has the largest food desert in one of Texas' wealthiest counties. So next slide, Kevin. So I approached City Council, the mayor, McKinney Community Development Corporation, which is an entity that actually owned that piece of land. And I said, instead of doing a lawn, keeping it passive for future development, let's try to address a need. Let's create something for the community. And let's partner with local agencies that are focused on healthy food, how to grow food in your backyard, food sustainability, vocational programs, so on and so forth. And it happens that we've got 3 outstanding organizations within 3 blocks of this location that are focused in those areas. Hugs Cafe provides vocational training to adults with intellectual disabilities. La Tiendita is a little market that's located a couple blocks east of us, focused on mentorship programs for kids at risk from 5th grade up to high school, right in the area. And Community Garden Kitchen, which is a free restaurant that provides meals to 170 people 4 nights a week, are 3 entities that we're partnering with in this community garden. Next slide, please. So this part of town, as I mentioned, is in a very historic, very old part of town that's going through some development. So you'll see where EMLG is located. That's a 1/4 of an acre piece of property. It's on a campus that we share with Tufts Brewery, a 4.5 acre project on a 110-year-old grain mill that just relocated to this site about 2 years ago. City Hall just north of us, $150 million development. I put this to give you context that although this is a food desert, it's a high traffic area. The city really wants this to be a unique part of town. It wants to preserve the buildings to the degree that they can. They give incentives for that to happen. They want this, anything developing over here to kind of fit into the vibe of this part of town. Next slide, please. So we approached City Council, we approached CDC. We said, let's give us the money that you would have spent on this lawn. Let us take that money, and then we'll fundraise for everything else that would be required to build the garden. They said, okay, multiple levels of approval, but we got there. This gives you a sense of the site that we were working from. It took a few people, a lot of people with a lot of vision to kind of think about what this could be. So this gives you a starting point. It's a little bit rough to say the least. Next slide. So the city approved it. Their architect was hired to give us some design renderings, and all of a sudden the vision came to life. We started fundraising for the project, going to local businesses, hitting national organizations that are focused on things like community gardens, school gardens, and parks, and friends and family. So we began raising money with this kind of as the design concept. Next slide. One back, I think. However, it wasn't without its challenges. So this is the big takeaway. The initial budget that we came up with was around $395,000. When the city put it through its procurement process, the adjusted budget based on their procurement vendors, partners, requirements, so on and so forth, came back at $903,000. The gig was up. There was no way we could have moved forward. However, we started talking more with the city, and they said, you know, if we took this out of the city procurement process and we turf this to McKinney Parks Foundation to operate as the GC or general contractor, you can hire who you want, you can create the work as you deem appropriate, and you can probably do this under budget. So we adjusted the budget. Again, we pulled that back in-house. The budget became $477,000. We've raised over $400,000 through friends and family and local and national organizations. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. Others have participated in. We've actually completed the project. We may have maybe 10,000 more of expenditures to build the project completely. And we've come in under budget. We've overraised from a fundraising perspective, and we have cash available of $213,000 that's going to allow us to do pretty cool things working with school districts and other agencies in town. Next slide, please. So a few of our partners, MCDC, Community Development Corporation, is basically a branch of the government that takes some of the sales tax dollars, and then they find community opportunities to invest in through grants. Received a $230,000 grant from them. That's roughly the cost of what it would have taken them to develop that as a passive landscape, as a lawn. Infrastructure, grading, irrigation. Parks Department provided design assistance and chipped in about $95,000 upfront in design. Parks Foundation, which historically has been a service organization, not a money organization, whose primary focus was on maintaining nature trails in McKinney, really reached out and branched out and saw this as a great project. So we're kind of double threaded now. We've got the East McKinney Learning Gardens and trail maintenance. Sprouts Market is a phenomenal partner. They're all about school gardens. They're all about healthy eating. They gave us a grant of $100,000, $50,000 last year. We're going to re-up for that, $50,000 this year. And if you donate $100,000 to McKinney Parks Foundation, you get your name on a teaching pavilion. So we've got a really cool area called the Sprouts Teaching Pavilion. It's the only naming rights that exist within the garden. And as I mentioned, we've raised over $400,000. $300,000 other than Sprouts through friends, family, and local businesses. Next slide, please. We still good on time? Couple more minutes? All right, great. So who are we partnering with? So trying to get local not-for-profits and other agencies heavily engaged. McKinney Garden Club gave $15,000 as an idea to create a competition among the 3 high schools in McKinney Independent School District. One of which has a school garden, the other 2 don't. So if we gave $5,000 to each of the 3 schools, we created a propagation and a growing contest of some sort. They bought equipment, they bought seeds, they buy transplants, whatever that might be. They start growing in spring, winter of next year. We have a competition based on who's grown the most, the fastest, the prettiest, the best business plan. They present a business plan to city leadership, to McKinney Parks Foundation. We kind of grade them and then make awards to the schools that they can then use to enhance school gardens throughout their feeder system, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools. Unfortunately, only 3 of the 35 schools in McKinney have a school garden. So this is really about jumpstarting gardening within either club-based organizations or hopefully within curriculum within the school. Also partnering with other entities, the art class at McKinney High did some work on a manhole cover. I'll show you in a second. The construction class helped build raised beds using 150-year-old cobblestone from the original town square. You'll see some of that. Welding and fabrication class is helping with signage. We're working with the Webb Elementary, a school about 2 blocks away, to do first grade walking field trips using the garden as an outdoor classroom. McKinney Art Club doing on-site paintings. McKinney Arts Commission gave us a $20,000 grant on a $60,000 art budget that we added to the budget based on fundraising effort and on coming in under budget, working with her museum in a bilingual outreach program. And then Tupp's Brewery, our neighbor on the site, created a farmhouse ale. 10% of the sales from that ale will help fund the garden moving forward, which is pretty cool. Next slide. A couple of our partners, Hugs Cafe on the left, we pick up vegetables. I harvest vegetables and herbs once or twice a week, take it to the kitchen, they prepare it and incorporate it into their menu. They're also a 501c3. The picture on the right are some of the kids from the mentorship program at La Tiendita who come down and help harvest and maintain the garden. And then I mentioned our third partner, Community Garden Kitchen, the free restaurant, is a phenomenal organization. They have a 1/4 acre garden, the same size as ours. They receive food from local retailers, from food banks, and they receive so much food and produce so much food that they redistribute 120 tons of food to other agencies within the area. So it's not about giving them food, but it's about giving them recognition and giving them publicity for the work that they're doing so that they can keep that mission going. Next slide. A couple of photos. We do outreach and we help of the 3 gardens. The one on the left is Webb Elementary. We send a cast of characters down there to help renovate their garden once or twice a year. The picture on the right are the 3 young ladies who painted a misplaced manhole cover and a concrete apron around it. Somehow our architect missed that there was a manhole cover right in the middle of the main entry to the garden. So we made lemonade out of lemons and said, this is kind of a funky, roachy place. It's all cool. We'll figure out a way to kind of fit it in. So the high school girls came down and they painted a beautiful mural on that manhole cover. Next slide, just about there. So on the left, the community is engaged. This is a high traffic area. The brewery brings festival goers, 6,000 in a given weekend to this area. They grab a beer, they grab a sandwich, they walk around the garden, they check things out. We hold events at the garden. So great thing. You'll see the farmhouse ale with kind of a blurb about East McKinney Learning Garden and the purpose of the beer on the right. Next one. Some of the programming that we're doing at the Sprouts Teaching Pavilion, we want classes to be there, whether it's how to prepare food, how to maintain a garden, whatever that might be. Our goal is to fill this up with at least 50 teaching events a year, at least one a week during good weather, probably less than that in January and February and December. Next slide. A few pictures of the classes that we help hold there. The signage for the pavilion isn't up yet. It will be shortly, but just a really cool place outdoors. We usually hold those Saturday mornings at 10:30. And then the next slide is kind of where we are right now. Not a bad looking view. Pretty cool place. It's truly a community resource. You find people sitting there just to get some peace of mind and some stillness and thoughtfulness to their lives. So it's kind of fun to watch that. And the last slide, another nice view, kind of incorporating the garden into kind of the historic elements of the rest of this part of town. So with that, I will end it there and look forward to any questions either now. My contact information, email, phone, whatnot is on the last page of the presentation if it's being sent out. Happy to talk with anyone offline about anything that we've done. So Matt and Kevin, thanks again.
So I have the pleasure of serving on the McKinney Parks Foundation board as its secretary, and was very excited when Bruce brought this project forward. I think it's been phenomenal, and it's a great place. It's about 5 minutes away from me, so it's a great place to go and grab a beer and just sit in the garden. And I've actually begun a lot more gardening now as a result of kind of being inspired by the work that Bruce and the rest of the team did. In case anyone was interested in seeing the awards, it's a little hard because it's glass and see-through, but this is the award that I'll be putting in with the McKinney Parks Foundation's exhibit package when it goes to various events. So all the people in the community will be able to see that the McKinney Parks Foundation is an award-winning Parks Foundation, as are all the rest of the folks that are participating today.
Awesome. Great stuff, Bruce. Really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing. And we'll again hold questions for after Emily. Emily is with the Charleston Parks Conservancy, and they had the most outstanding capital campaign. So Emily, take it away.
Sorry, I got my prize for getting this thing up and then couldn't figure out how to unmute myself. Let's try that again. Sorry. So as he mentioned, I'm with the Charleston Park. I'm Emily Topham with the Charleston Parks Conservancy, and we are a nonprofit partner for the city of Charleston. So our job is to come in and help raise private funds to elevate our public park spaces. I'm getting it back up, sorry. Maybe. Stop share. Sorry, guys. Try this one more time. Okay. So we are active in 26 of the city's 126 public park spaces, including 5 large parks, 3 community gardens, and soon to be 2 food forests. So our job is to come in, help elevate the horticulture in those parks, as well as to host free community events. So we host about 10,000 people annually at all kinds of things, from large festivals like our Teddy Bear Picnic to walks in the park. And finally, we have a Grow It Forward program through which we grow and donate 16 tons of organic produce to organizations that serve communities in food crisis. For the Colonial Lake campaign, the purpose was, of course, to fund the complete horticultural renovation of 3 acres of gardens at historical Colonial Lake, which is a city of Charleston public park that's been around since about 1768. So that we are stewards of this historic space, and this is just sort of the latest iteration. We have had this park under our care for some time. It has been a rough few years in terms of hurricanes and additional salt water, and so the plantings that had been there had really declined. We lost 6 shade-producing trees, which makes a totally different environment. We'd had some invasive plants kind of move in and take over, and so it really needed a pretty significant overhaul. So our challenges were, everybody loves a ribbon cutting. We typically don't have a problem fundraising for a project. It's okay, well, what happens in 6 months and what happens in 5 years, getting that ongoing maintenance. So we wanted to wrap that ask into this initial campaign. So while we're doing the big hoopla and the big ribbon cutting, we can go ahead and make sure the park's taken care of for future years. Our second major challenge, which is like kind of a sub bullet really for that first one, is major sponsor recognition in our parks. We're not allowed to have any signage in our parks recognizing sponsors, which for smaller donors is not a huge deal, but it's a big deal when it comes to asking people to write large checks. So we'll talk a little bit more in a minute. And then our last challenge is we had a brand new development team. This was my first campaign and our executive director was brand new to the area. So while the Conservancy has been around a long time, we were working with a pretty new staff. So we had a pretty reasonable project goal, $125,000 plus 5 years of sustaining maintenance. And our goal was to complete the revitalization effort in 2 years. So we started off with a big campaign launch with a preview party. The picture there is some little vignettes we'd set up. We really wanted to paint the picture of what we were doing. We weren't coming back in and just doing the same thing. So we had some partners do a design drawing, brought in the plant palette that we were talking about so people could really see the vision. We also had our board, we really engaged our board with this. We had them write personal invitations to 300 people. We had over 100 come, which is amazing for, spring in Charleston, everybody's running 100 miles an hour. So we think that really helped cut through the noise of all the invitations hitting people's mailbox. The mayor came and spoke. One of the people we were tapping for sustaining sponsorship, we had them speak because they are right on the park. And then, of course, we also set up, a landing page with frequently asked questions, social media, email, and of course, park signage. never let it be said the Conservancy can't do a campaign or can't do a theme. So we worked with this local artist and we created an entire suite of materials based on this beautiful painting of Colonial Lake that she had done. So the first two pictures are our opening night or our preview party invitation. Then we had some letterhead created. We did a rack card that went to everybody, and then the final one was our little graphic of the lake filling up, which we had a lot of discussion about it being very triggering because it floods a lot here, but it ended up being fine. This is just the recognition that we did in last year's annual report for the campaign donors. So timeline, we had expected this campaign to take really through the end of the year. We'd really hoped it would be done by the end of the year. We ended up raising 60% in the first month and really at that party. And that was, again, through getting our board activated, getting them bringing in their people. We secured a match from a brand new donor who came through a board member. He is very philanthropic in Charleston, but has never had any dealings with the Conservancy. So that was a really big boost for the campaign. And then in month 2, we were able to exceed our goal. We also began negotiations on sustaining sponsor recognition for park signage, and I say begin negotiations, but really it was like 18 years in the making. And we basically had a donor come forward and say, we'll do it, but we have to have park signage. So we went back to the city and you'll see we ended up being able to do it. One kind of really interesting story, this major gift case study bullet is we had I got a call out of the clear blue sky, and it was a woman who'd seen our park signs, just the park signs, like we're doing Colonial Lake, here's a QR code. She saw it, she went to our QR code, saw the landing page where we had put every question everybody had ever asked us about this entire process and with answers to it. So she was able to research it, and she called us and said, oh, I want to do a donation. I said, great, let's go meet and walk the park. And she wrote us a $25,000 check that day, which for a $125,000 campaign is a big deal. So that was just, you never know where it's going to come from. And then we did secure that sustaining gift. This is our sign, and I apologize for the terrible picture that I took out my car window the other day, the day it went up, because this is what we had fought for 18 years for, and we were able to recognize that sustaining donor. So the campaign results, we raised more than we started out to, and much more quickly. We were able to get that annual commitment for sustaining support. But the really interesting thing was 72% of these funds came from first-time donors, people who had never had any touches with the Conservancy in the past. So we'll talk more about, we kind of said, okay, well, we've got to make sure these people stay with us. So we'll talk about stewardship in a second. But then we also said, well, that was really easy. So why don't we make our lives really hard? And we're just going to go ahead and do this renovation in 1 year. We're going to hire a designer, and then we're going to develop a festival to launch it. So we did all that, and the festival was last weekend. So we completed the renovation on time. We threw a Bloom Charleston, which was, again, the first year festival. We had speakers come from all over the world. We opened the idea garden. We developed a docent program. And the goal is really to keep this garden alive, like I said, well after the ribbon cutting. So stewardship, always critical. I mean, I know thank you notes is like a silly thing to write on here, but we get, in the South, we get thank you notes for writing thank you notes. And I'm not kidding, I've gotten a lot of them. So I, can never have too many. We really activated our board on that, and they are just, I have them writing notes right and left. Another really popular thing that was really fun was when we started pulling out the plant material, not all of it was like bad, like it wasn't all invasive, or it just was in the wrong place. So we did a dig and divide day, and we invited the people who donated to this campaign to come out, and we tagged all the plants that they could take around Colonial Lake and take them back to their houses. That thing filled up, because we could only take so many people. So that day filled up. They came, they saw, I'm still hearing about those plants in their yard. It was just a really fun way to get people in the park, not feeling like we're wasting all this great plant material, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, we continue with tour invitations, and we walk in the park is always our favorite way to talk to people. And so far this year, excuse me, we've converted 68% of that giving to unrestricted giving. And we haven't even hit end of year campaign. So we're hoping that number goes up and expecting that number to go up. Future plans, again, we want to continue to build awareness through Bloom Charleston, which is the festival. And then we created a kind of an educational layer called the Idea Garden over what our horticulture staff did. So really it's, we know people have these same conditions in their yard. We know people have salt water in their yard. We know people have harsh sun and it's always humid. And so we wanted to really show people what was possible in creating this beautiful garden that can also mitigate the impacts of climate change, that has trees that provide shade, that has grasses and other plants that have deep root systems that can suck up all that water for all these rain events that we have. So we're putting together a full educational package about that. We're working on some collaborations for passive income. We're also doing a beer, the Colonial Lake Lager, that's going to come out at our next fundraising event. We have a candle that's going to be an entire line of park candles. The first one is Colonial Lake, and it is, we just released it this past weekend at the festival. And then just continuing education. So that docent program that we developed was really popular. Everybody loved it and bought into it. So we're going to activate them throughout the year. Colonial Lake is most beautiful at golden hour. So we're going to be doing golden hour tours and just, again, keep that story of the park alive. And then we're, of course, going to be looking forward to our next park renovation in 2027. So that's it.
Excellent work. That's had the opportunity to walk the park probably in late August. And I think it was in the midst of, the ripping out and replanting of plants. So just a beautiful park. And thank you for being stewards of that park. Awesome. So
Well, thank you.
Thanks to everyone for their input. I'd love to open it up for questions. There's so many stories here, so don't be bashful. Does anyone have questions?
Can you take it off share, Emily, please?
I'm trying.
That's that green button at the bottom.
Yeah, thank you.
Do we have any questions from the folks?
I'll start with Stephen. Stephen, can you talk more about some of the where your fundraising goes? Is it access into your parks? What kind of programs are you funding?
Oh, sure. And thank you. So basically, one of our flagship programs is providing scholarships. And that's for everyone of all ages. Anyone who can't afford our programming, we offer up to a 75% scholarship so that it makes it accessible for everyone. The other portion of our fundraising goes to closing the gap on capital projects. So as you might imagine, from the time a project is envisioned, goes through the process at the public level, contracts are let, the budget for that project can increase anywhere from 20 to 30%. And we basically fundraise to close that gap.
Yeah, great work.
And actually, we just kicked off a $15 million capital campaign to renovate the Discovery Museum at our Sulphur Creek Nature Center, which is an animal rescue hospital and educational center for school groups in the area. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Maritza, what is the next steps for St. Johns County Park Foundation as it relates to maybe fundraising and continued pursuit of brand awareness?
Yeah, so community engagement is obviously very important, and we're still establishing that. I think this year has been conversations, and then this upcoming year is really actually starting to build the relationships with people. I have kind of gone back and forth on actually kicking off a campaign. I think I'm actually taking a lot of notes on the Hard Foundation and also on the conservatory about just the different ideas that worked for you guys, because I think some elements of those can work for us. We again have a challenge of having the entire county. So we have just a lot going on with our Parks Department, and we can kind of lose our vision like that because our market is everyone, which is kind of difficult sometimes. So I think just what's next is continuing to establish those relationships and then start to finally think about a campaign.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
Anyone else want to chime in with any thoughts or questions?
I have a question for any of the folks that had the successful campaigns. How do you get from your nonprofit, how do you get others to kind of buy in, especially when it comes to other nonprofits, and to where it doesn't feel like you're poaching them or something like that? Like, we don't have like naming rights or anything like that just yet, but how do you kind of tap around that if that's a problem or an issue?
How are you looking to partner with them? Like what are do you have strategies in mind, or is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, I guess because a lot of nonprofits use our facilities, I've tried to reach out to be like, hey, like let's talk about how you use our facilities for either free or at a really low cost, or how you're able to have this successful 5K thanks to the public amenity that we have. And and I get a little bit of that just I don't know. Maybe it feels a little bit poachy, like we're kind of trying to jump into their network, or maybe not. I just don't know if anyone else has ever run into any issues like that.
We partnered with a hospital foundation early on, their stated partnership was going to be to help fundraise and help with some programming in the Learning Garden. And when we got into it and we really started dividing up, okay, here's who you're going to outreach to from your donor list versus who we're going to outreach to, it got, I wouldn't say contentious, but it got very, very private. And there was no interest in them sharing anything. And we didn't know any better. So it was, we asked questions and they denied us. So we for whatever reason, we ended up parting ways with them. And most of the asks that we have, a lot of the companies are regular, habitual philanthropists in town anyway. So we haven't run into any problems where at this point it feels like poaching. And the dollar amounts that we're asking for typically are less than $50,000. And for those organizations, the bigger organizations, that typically is not a big budget item. So other than that initial out of the box problem that I mentioned, we haven't really had that since then.
Okay.
We've taken more of a grassroots approach. We sponsored some chamber events this year, and that allowed us to have tables at those different events. We put together, as you saw in the one picture, a table with a raffle. People would give us their email address, contact information. You'd spin the raffle wheel, maybe win a shirt or a button, something for free, something small. We were able to add over 500 names to our mailing list over 3 events this summer. So I think finding the right partner, finding more of a public space opportunity, and then just engaging with folks has really worked well for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say for us, it's Charleston's a kind of still a small town at its core, even though it's grown so much. And so we are, and there is a lot of concern with poaching. And frankly, for a lot of these people, you're not going to get people like we're the new kid on the block who've been, their family's been contributing to Preservation Society for 100 years, like they're probably not going to come over, which is fine because it's a great organization. But the way we handle it is really just increasing our awareness. And that was one of the goals of Bloom, because so many people are moving to Charleston and there's a lot of new money in town. So just making sure people understand our value and know who we are and know what we do. The other thing is that we actually have started working more and more with our peer nonprofits. Like, for example, the Library Society hosted a kickoff event for Bloom. And, it was really all about raising the awareness for the festival. And we are looking for ways to work with others as well. But we also we would not take each other's lists.
All right. Well, we're coming to the end of the line here.
Any
Matt,
other
you want to talk
questions
us?
or comments?
I really enjoyed hearing everyone's presentations. Thank you, Kevin, for putting this together. Yeah, I thought this was great.
Well, we really appreciate your time today. And again, I think anytime we can get together and talk about what people are doing, it's great for the bulk of the membership base, and this has just been great. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Just a couple of quick notes here. NAPF has been going through a rebranding, so I hope you're going to be seeing a new website. Some of your logon details and how you log on is going to change, and we're going to have a much more innovative and easy to navigate website. We're looking forward to rolling that out later this month. In January, we're going to be doing a winter webinar series, 5 one-hour presentations over 1 week, where we're going to have some very innovative companies, as well as some more stories from the park foundations to help continue to enlighten and grow our networking. And we really appreciate our members and everyone who joined us today. And without further ado, Matt, I think we'll give the folks 2 minutes of their lives back to get to their next meeting, which I'm sure they need to rush off to. So thanks, everyone. Appreciate you coming out today. Thank you for my host, Matt, for taking this on today. And we wish you a great rest of the week.
Thank you.
See ya.